Good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Legal Latino Heat here. September 3rd. If you're like me, you just can't wait till this year is over. 2020 has been a disaster. We still got an election to go through. And are we surviving 2020? Not many people could say that. It's nothing. It's just been a horrible year for a lot of people. Whether you're still here on Earth watching this, or you have a business, you have a restaurant, gym, you have a lot of things. How are you surviving 2020? It's not just you're dead or alive. Is if you're alive, you lost everything: your business, your job, you're getting divorced. A lot of bad things are happening in 2020. Suicides, a lot of suicides, a lot of domestic violence, a lot of child abuse, a lot of things going on that the media is not even reporting. Things that you don't even think about. You understand that? Because we're focused on one thing only, right? BLM riots, election. That's it. But you're not focused on the other things that are going on. And the news just throws all these things at us. While I was quarantined, I'm like, this has to be an experiment. They're experimenting with us. See how far they can push us. You see how one week is this and then the next week is that. It's like we're like hamsters in a cage, and some people are just running on the wheel because you're just working to make money and pay your bills, pay your rents, trying to stay alive. Some people just work just to stay alive. You don't get to enjoy life. To work 7 days, 20 hours just to survive. There's many different ways of saying surviving 2020. Just working, getting a job, doing it's different ways of surviving. But how are you surviving 2020? Something to open up your mind in. What are you doing to prepare yourself to get out of 2020 for the future? If you live in a city, are you planning to move out to the suburbs? Are you saving money? Or you're investing your money? Are you looking for a second source of income? What are you doing? That's something you have to think about, ladies and gentlemen. Besides all the crazy things that are going on, yes, it's crazy, but don't let it distract you. You still got a life to live. All right. Yeah, I get caught up in the politics, and it's depressing. You're like, damn, this is probably the end of America. This is probably the end of the world. This is the end of this. But you still gotta push through and find a way. Hey, I'm not just talking politics. I'm talking about life. Life. You gotta find a way to survive this. Now you see a lot of people moving. Get into the moving business, right? Jermaine, do that. You see people. You gotta clean. Get into the cleaning business. Like, there's the floods. Get a boat. So you gotta be prepared for any such. If you know there's a hurricane coming here every year, every couple of months, invest in a boat. Invest in something that's gonna help you down the line. It just things to think about. I just feel like the news just keeps us here, keeps us in the moment. Just it's been a very social experiment. How people are behaving, reacting, the lockdown. People are, oh, put on a mask. I go in the store and I don't have a mask on. I get screamed at. I get looked at. I'm like, geez, all right, relax. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna argue sometimes, and I get. But you know what? I just want to survive. That's just my mentality now. Surviving. We live in places that are crime is going up. We're getting robbed. People are getting shot. There's a lot of bad things going on. You can't even go eat inside of a restaurant. You can't do certain things. You can't go to the gym. You can't go to the movies until now. But I have a feeling they're gonna give us a little taste. All right, go back to eating at your restaurants. Go back to the gym, and then they're gonna take it away from us again. It feels horrible. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but it just feels like we're gonna get played again. We're gonna. There's no trust. It's just the schools are gonna open, right? You get 5, 10 kids sick, they're gonna shut down the schools again. We're just one report, right? One Fauci on that. We're just one Fauci. It just takes Fauci, right? I think he fixed his voice now. He had like surgery or something, so he can actually talk a little bit more normal. He doesn't have that raspy. Hey guys, oh my god, it's hurting my throat trying to imitate that guy. I don't have the nose or the throat to do his imitation. So Fauci, I remember that idiot. I never heard of this guy. I think he's been around since Bush. How come I never call me ignorant, call me whatever, but I never, ever heard of Dr. Fauci until in March. Oh, I think no. It was February because March was February, around February. Because this is how I remember 2020. All right, January, Kobe Bryant died, the day of the Royal Rumble. February, there was talk about a pandemic in Wuhan. I remember that. I was watching the guy that was quarantined in Wuhan that he traveled. It was on one of those channels watching that. And I'm like, how come we living a normal life in America in February while there's a pandemic going on in China? Doesn't all the stuff that we get come from China? And then by March 14, 15, that's when they shut it down. A month and a half later. This has been going on since December. I recall watching a video in December about this stuff, but I'm like, I don't want to be those crazy guys making videos and it's conspiracy theorists. That's because that's what they did, ladies and gentlemen. You used to watch Alex Jones, the Police State. I think I got enlightened. I don't want to say woke. I hate the word woke. Oh, are you woke? No, I'm not woke. It's disgusting. I am enlightened. I'm not gonna say illuminated because then that'll take me to the next level, which I'm never gonna be a part of or wanna be, because then you gotta sell your soul. I am enlightened. I like to enlighten myself, shine some light into my knowledge, so I can see in the dark. If you're not enlightened, you can't see in the dark. So right, if you're woke, okay, you're woke in the dark, but you can't see, right? You have your eyes wide open. It's like if you wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, everything is dark, you can't turn on the lights. Okay, you're woke, but you can't see. I'd rather be enlightened. So I'm enlightened. You can see through the dark. You could see through evil, through darkness. That's why across past the years I could read people. I can know if you're good or bad. I'm not gonna say I'm 100%, but based on my experiences and characters and the bad experiences I've been through, I can say I can have a sense of feeling, and that's just something that comes with age, being around a lot of people. So when you get older, you get grumpier. I'm grumpy as heck. Everything bothers me now. Can't stand stuff. I just want to be away from people. That's why my new sport is fishing. So I love living by the beach because I just go fishing. That's all I do. That's what you do see me doing videos, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, where I go fishing. I go away from all this stuff. I pop in some 60s music and just go fishing, man. With my transistor radio. Just leave me alone. Like I even leave the cell phones in the car, so you don't see me live streaming me fishing. Because why would I want to be bothered by social media, by the outside world while I'm fishing? You know how exhilarating it is to be fishing for 6 hours and not catching a fish. But the important thing is, those 6 hours were peaceful, away from all this nonsense, and that's the important part about fishing. It doesn't matter if you catch a fish. It matters if you have this mental rehab. What's it the hell did I call it? A mental what was it? Damn. What it's not rehab. I forgot the word. Mental detox. A mental detox. There you go. I was gonna say something else that is similar to detox, but that sounds ugh. It's like a mental detox. You take your mind out of all this stuff, you come back with a clear mind. Some of us need that. Some of us been quarantined for so long. You need to be out there in nature. What better way to be social distance than just going out to the woods, to the glades, to the I can't I don't not the beach because there's a lot of people at the beach. I'm talking about lakes. You gotta go on the trail. Just get away from people. That I mean, I my favorite thing is being away from people, and perhaps that's why I became a cat person. I've been looking into why people like cats, like lonely people that like to be alone, love cats because cats are independent. And I like dogs. I love my dogs. May they both of them rest in peace. Up in doggy heaven. I missed you. Miss my babies. But you got to give them attention. And the same thing with a cat. Don't get me wrong. But cats are independent. They do their own thing. And then they want to cuddle. And it's just cute. It's just cute. Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. Getting sidetracked, ladies and gentlemen. Don't let me get sidetracked here. So, so we're social distance. So they took away the handshakes, the hugging. I still see people hug and stuff like that, but we just don't have that connection. Even with social media, the phones, we don't call each other anymore. We text, email, social media. It you took away all of that interaction where you get to read people. Because now I've noticed We judge people on social media what they got. Oh, this guy has a lot of cars, he has money, and you fall in love with the social media persona. And then when you meet this person, you're like, oh, it's not what I saw on social media. Instead of when you're actually meeting somebody, when you lock on eyes, you're eating an ice cream in a restaurant, and somebody walks in, and your eyes locked in that moment. I think the first 10 seconds, people know if they like each other or not. So they took that away. It's all social media, Tinder, swipe, 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 this and that. So they really decondition us to not have feelings or emotions. People dying, whatever. Taking away the 9/11 memorial from New York City on 9/11, something that happened not even 19 years ago. It's gonna be 20 next year. To take away that memorial, never forget. You really just taking the desensitizing people, and the media just focuses on one thing. An unarmed black person gets killed, and that's what they focus on day in and day night. I feel like they wait for a cop to do that again. Like, oh my God, I can't. Hopefully today they do it again so we could have something to cover for the rest of the night. And then you have these other people just looking for excuses to riot and loot. But nobody's living life. So how are you surviving 2020? Is protesting gonna help you survive 2020? Looting, rioting? Like, what do you get out of looting and rioting? Do you really feel proud stealing somebody else's from somebody? Do you really feel good about that? Like, would you want to wear a pair of sneakers that you stole or that you bought and earned? I was listening today that the flights, the airlines, they said back in March they were doing great, February, and then March came, the pandemic hit, everything stopped. They stopped making money. Now they got to lay off people. People that went to aviation school to become pilots, they probably won't have jobs now because there's no planes to fly. Nobody's traveling. Stewardess, it's a whole chain reaction. Restaurants are closing down, gyms, a lot of things are closing down. But right now we're distracted. We're very distracted. This black versus white, Republican versus Democrat. We're fighting each other. While those that are funding Antifa, those that really control our government, are going doing everything as planned. And we all being taken for a ride, and we all being played by a fool. Whether you vote Republican, whether you vote Democrat, and you don't see what's really, really going on, then you're just falling for the trap. It doesn't matter what you vote for, but you got to see for what it really is. They're playing us. They're playing us against each other. It's like a game of chess. These guys, the elites. There's people above the elite. There's people that. Do you think George Soros is the one really running the game? No, that's just a name they throw around, right? You had William Barr yesterday. Shout out to David Crocco. I was just watching David Crocco, so check out his channel, David Crocco. He put up something I really don't want to get into. Go check him out. But I think his name was Pastor Ralph Weiss. So he said yesterday, in 59 seconds, those 59 seconds is what kind of inspired me to make this video. Without me getting thrown out of YouTube, I'm gonna try to say it. So he explained why you cannot stop Antifa, right? All these years, we're gonna label Antifa terrorist group. 4 years, Trump could have done this, right? Proud Boys getting arrested for fighting Antifa in New York. All this stuff going on. It could have been done. Something could have been done, but nothing has been done. We're already in 2020. Look what they're doing now, and nothing has been done. Why not? Because if you follow the money, where is the money gonna lead you? It's not George Soros, ladies and gentlemen. George Soros is merely the supervisor to Antifa. Like you have a McDonald's, you have your cashiers, your drive-through cashier. That's all Antifa is, a bunch of cashiers. And making the burgers, making the bombs. And then you got a shift supervisor, right? George Soros is nothing but a shift supervisor. He's probably the overnight supervisor. Then you got your manager, and you got your owner, then you got this regional guy, and then you got the CEO, then you got the owner of the whole corporation. You got share, but there's always the ones on top. So all these different layers. You're not, if you want to follow that money, it's gonna lead you to different ways. and it's gonna lead you down a path that nobody's gonna let allow them to go down that path. And if you know what that path is, good for you. If you don't know what that path is, do a little research. How do you think Antifa is getting away with all this stuff? Right? You see people like the groups like the Proud Boys that fight them back, they get shut down in an instant. Right? Anybody, Kyle, look at what's going on with the Kyle Rittenhouse. Look how he's being thrown around. But you could beat up cops in New York City and get out of jail in an hour. Yeah, cops got beaten up in New York City, and those people got let go within hours. Antifa people in New York get arrested and they're out in hours. I don't know how it is in other states, but in New York, I know there's a no bail reform thanks to evil eyes Andrew Cuomo. So if you get arrested in New York, you're out in an hour with a Metro card, and I think they give you like a gift card for Grubhub, so you could buy some food too. They give you a nice little care package when you get out of jail with no bail. That's how it is in New York. So that's why all the crime is being committed. You get locked up, you get a nice little free ride. You could probably go take a shower, and then you're back out in the streets committing crimes again. But who's funding all of this? Who put all these district attorneys in all these liberal cities? Who did that? Who funded these campaigns, ladies and gentlemen? Who? That's what you gotta find out. Who are these lobbyists? Who you cannot speak about? Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. Those who you cannot criticize is those that control you. Think about that. It's certain people we can't talk about. The media protects certain people. So Antifa's going nowhere. They're very protected for a reason. They said Antifa has been going on since 1930. Since the 1930s, Antifa has been going on. Is that? Almost. They're about to celebrate their 100 years, but they changed their names. I don't know, Weather Underground. The same people from Weather Underground still involved in this. The board members. Look into that. Susan Rosenberg. She runs Black Lives Matter. So think about it. That you get all these people donating money. Some people are being fooled. I'm not saying that the cause is wrong. If there's change, there needs to be change. There needs to be change. That's up for discussion. It's not up for looting and rioting and killing people in the streets. None of this should be happening, but they're allowing it to happen for a reason. Hey, whether it's Trump letting it happen because they told him to let it happen, or whether it's happening because the mayors are telling, it's all a game, right? You got good cop and bad cop. Trump is gonna say, "Hey, yeah, I want to send people," and then the mayor has to say no. That's how the game works. Heels and faces, good and bad. You always gotta have a good and bad to keep the people divided. You know how nice it would be if our government agreed? How peaceful it would never happen. So, ladies and gentlemen, what are you doing to survive 2020? Let me see this comment. In Los Angeles, I was never locked down. Was the only person on freeway living like that's good. No, some people, essential workers, you gotta go out. Me and my wife go kayaking on the ocean. It's not relaxing, but it's exciting. Kayaking, fishing in the lake is meditating though, except when I lose the fish. Yeah, Andy, I want to get a kayak. That's my next thing. You couldn't find a kayak anywhere. Hopefully, when it gets colder, you probably find one cheaper. Somebody just unloading one. So hopefully, get lucky with that. Get a kayak. But that kayak sounds. I'm really interested in that. But I want to go in a group. I don't want nothing to happen. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, what are you doing to survive 2020? Just open up your minds. Think about what you see in different point of views. Think outside the box. Think about it as, why is this happening? Where is this money coming from? Who is renting out these hotel rooms, the U-Haul trucks? Who's giving them the bricks, the bats, the gasoline? Somebody's paying for this? Who? And yes, you're gonna say George Soros, but who's telling George Soros to do this? It's not just George Soros, and they wouldn't be throwing his name around for no reason. If you ever watch movies, right, you always have like the Kingpin, you have like the Joker, right, the Riddler, but they're not the ones in charge. There's always somebody on top of them. There's just the henchmen, the goons. There's always someone on top that's funding them. Who's funding the criminals? But the person that really is funding it, it's You see it in the movies. That's what people think. It happens in the movies. It won't happen in real life. Art imitates real life, or real life imitates art. Like RoboCop, same thing with David Crockett. I love RoboCop. He was talking about RoboCop how in Detroit, the criminals ran the I think they were using fentanyl, the little red thing that people were taking, like the fentanyl drugs. If you walk around any liberal city, you see a bunch of drug addicts just walking around. I think they hopped on fentanyl, just like that little red thing that they were selling in RoboCop. Then you have the criminals running it. The cops had no chance. Cops were getting shot. There was, and then Detroit sold the police department to OCP, a private corporation. Started building the robots, the RoboCops, and they're doing that now. They're giving cops like these helmets, so they could do heat censoring on you just by wearing a helmet. See if you have any guns. It might sound cool. Oh, they check your temperature. It may sound good to keep us safe, but now they're taking away our freedoms and liberty, ladies and gentlemen. Even after 9/11, you get little by little, they create the problems so they could take away our freedoms, our constitution. You have all these problems, even with this. I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but the school shootings, right? Even before the pandemic, they weren't going on as like it was before. Like you see how things changed. Like in the 90s, it was bombings, the World Trade Center bombing, Oklahoma City bombing, the 9/11. Like it just changes. Enemies changes, right? Like right now, Al Qaeda is not an enemy anymore. Or the other guys. I don't even know their names anymore because they don't talk about it. I forgot. You see how it is? People forget about that and how they made us forget about 9/11. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. You got to see what they're doing. You just can't sit there and just listen to what they're doing. You got to see what they're doing to us, the media, on both sides. On both sides. I enjoy Tucker Carlson. He might be the only one that gets a pass. Everybody else sucks. He might be the only one. But he is the one that's probably going to name the people that are all behind this. I know he knows. He hints at it all the times, ladies and gentlemen. And why do you think Tucker Carlson gets so many? That guy gets millions of views. He's saying the truth, but he can't say it. He's speaking it, but he really can't say it. I think he's waiting for the right moment. Some people are saying he's waiting for the election time to really go at it. As we're getting closer to the election, Tucker Carlson's heating up. He dropped the Cuomo tapes. I think it was Monday or Tuesday. He's throwing punches now. He's taking off the gloves. Just pay attention to that guy. Because he's on the media. He's in the club in a group you can't get into without selling out. I don't know how he got in, and now he's kind of like speaking the truth. Because there's been a lot of guys like that started speaking out the truth, and then they switch, they sell out. Like Mark Dice, the crowd, all these people, they just start talking the truth, suck you in, and then they just pander, or maybe they got bought. I don't know. But as you can see, the way I say things, I word things in a certain way, so you can also open up your minds and think, ladies and gentlemen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to give you 25 minutes. I don't want to take too much time from your lives. You only have 24 hours in a day. Thank you for giving me 24 minutes of your life. I appreciate it for listening to my thoughts, I guess. I don't think it was a rant. But what the hell do I know? I'm just a legal Latino. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Just give me a thumbs up and thank you. Leave a comment down below. Have a good day, ladies and gentlemen.